One of the saddest stories in football history is Neymar's. Not because he failed, but because he could have been so much more. This was a player who didn't just play football, he performed it in the skills, the flair, the confidence. On his best day, Neymar looked untouchable. Like football was too easy for him. Defenders couldn't take the ball off him. Fans didn't just watch him, they waited for him to do something impossible. And that's why his story hurts so much, because Neymar wasn't supposed to become what could have been. He was supposed to become one of the greatest players ever. Some people genuinely believed he could finish as the third greatest footballer of all time, behind only Messi and Ronaldo, maybe even higher. So what happened? Was he unlucky, or did Neymar slowly destroy his own legacy? To understand that, you have to go back to the beginning, because in Brazil, Neymar wasn't just another talented kid, he was the next chosen one. A country that once had Pelé, Ronaldo Nazario, Ronaldinho, now looked at Neymar as the next player meant to carry Brazilian football into a new generation. And the scary part, he actually looked worthy of it. At Santos, Neymar didn't look normal. Even as a teenager, he played with swagger, tricks, goals, confidence. He made football feel fun again. Europe noticed immediately. Chelsea tried to sign him early, but Neymar stayed in Brazil to develop. Then came the moment that changed everything. The Puskas Award goal in 2011. That goal turned Neymar from a Brazilian wonder kid into a global phenomenon. And suddenly, everyone knew the same thing. This guy belonged in Europe, Barcelona eventually signed him, and on paper it looked perfect. Neymar alongside Messi, the future meeting the greatest player alive. But reality was different, because when Neymar arrived in Spain, he wasn't the main character anymore. Messi was. At first, Neymar struggled to adapt. Different country, different football, different pressure. People expected magic immediately, but his first season felt quiet. Good, but not legendary. Then came the 2014 World Cup. Brazil's hopes rested entirely on Neymar's shoulders. At just 22 years old, he was carrying an entire nation. And somehow, he delivered. Goals, moments, confidence. He looked ready for greatness. Until everything collapsed. The back injury against Colombia, and then the 7-1 humiliation against Germany. Brazil didn't just lose that night, they broke. And even though Neymar wasn't on the pitch, that moment followed him forever. While Brazil collapsed, Barcelona exploded because Neymar, Messi, and Suarez became unstoppable. MSN, maybe the greatest front three football has ever seen. This was Neymar at his most dangerous, fast, fearless, creative. He wasn't just entertaining anymore. He was world class. Then came the comeback against PSG. Barcelona losing 4-0 from the first leg. Impossible situation. And somehow Neymar almost single-handedly dragged them back. A free kick, penalty, an assist in the final seconds. It should have been Neymar's defining moment. But after the match, the headlines were still about Messi. And deep down, something changed. Because Neymar realized something painful. As long as Messi existed in Barcelona, he would never truly become football's #1 star. So he left. The PSG transfer shocked football. 220 million euros. The most expensive transfer in history. Neymar didn't leave Barcelona because he hated the club. He left because he wanted something bigger. His own team, his own legacy, his own Ballon d'Or. And at first, it looked like the perfect decision. In France, Neymar was incredible. Defenders couldn't stop him. The league looked too easy for him. He was finally the center of attention. But then the injuries started again and again and again. Every season felt the same. Neymar would dominate for months, then disappear when PSG needed him most. Champions League knockouts, important games, big moments, injured. And slowly the perception around him changed. People stopped talking about his talent and started talking about his attitude. The diving, the drama, the lack of discipline. At the 2018 World Cup, it got even worse. Instead of talking about Neymar's football, the world was making memes about him rolling on the floor. That tournament damaged his image badly. Because for the first time, people started asking if Neymar was wasting his potential. Then came 2020, the closest he ever got to proving everyone wrong. PSG reached the Champions League final, and Neymar looked different that season. More mature, more focused. He carried PSG through difficult moments and finally looked ready to become the player everyone expected. But they lost the final to Bayern Munich, and honestly, that felt like Neymar's last real chance, because after that, football moved on. PSG brought in Messi, and Mbappe became the face of the project. And suddenly, Neymar was no longer the future. He became the forgotten superstar. It's the tragedy of Neymar. When you watch his highlights, he looks like one of the greatest players ever. But when you look at his career, something feels incomplete, not because he was bad, but because he was too good not to dominate football. And maybe that's why people still talk about him differently. Because Neymar didn't fail as he won trophies. He became a global icon. He created unforgettable moments. With his talent, people expected immortality. Instead, injuries, pressure, and decisions slowly pulled him away from greatness. Now, when people talk about Neymar, they don't talk about the career he had. They talk about the career he could have had. And honestly, that might be the saddest legacy a footballer can leave behind.